When I met Ryan, I wasn't looking for anything serious. I had just gotten out of a messy breakup with a guy who thrived on drama, and I thought Ryan was going to be just a rebound. A safe, easy, low-stakes kind of thing. He was sweet, thoughtful, reliable, maybe a little too reliable. The kind of guy who'd rather spend Friday nights making homemade pasta than partying in a club, who actually called when he said he would, who listened when I talked about my day without immediately turning it into a competition about whose day was worse. Back then, I told myself I liked him for the stability, but in truth, I think I always saw him as too safe. But we stayed together. Months turned into years, and Ryan never stopped being steady, dependable, and maybe a little predictable. He had a good job, treated me well, remembered my favorite coffee order, and always made sure my car was gassed up if he borrowed it. And somehow, instead of appreciating all that, I started resenting it. I wanted excitement, that rush you get when you don't know what's coming next. I missed the adrenaline of passion mixed with chaos, the kind that comes with people who are bad for you in all the right ways. Ryan, bless him, never made me cry from uncertainty or keep me awake all night wondering where he was. He was just there. And I started thinking maybe just there wasn't enough. The beginning of the end started at my friend's bachelorette party. We went to Miami, danced until 3 a.m., and spent entire afternoons at the beach talking about our relationships. Most of the girls were either single or dating men who were bold, flashy, and unpredictable. They told wild stories about romantic getaways planned overnight or jealous arguments that ended in passionate makeup sessions. Compared to them, my relationship with Ryan felt beige. When it was my turn to share about my love life, I laughed and said, "Ryan's great. He's perfect, actually. I just don't know if I'm attracted to him anymore." I meant it as a joke, but as soon as I said it, I felt the truth of it like a punch in the chest. The girls gasped, asked me what I meant, and I brushed it off. But the thought lingered. A few weeks later, we were having dinner at his place. He had gone all out. Candles, my favorite wine, a new recipe he'd spent the afternoon perfecting. And all I could think about was how bored I felt. How predictable it all was. In a moment of terrible, unfiltered honesty, I put my fork down and said, "Ryan, I don't think I'm attracted to you anymore." The words hung in the air like smoke. He froze for a second, his hand halfway to his glass, and then set it down without taking a sip. "Okay," he said quietly, like he was processing a math problem. "Is there someone else?" I shook my head, swearing there wasn't, and that was the truth. But in my heart, I think I was already looking for something. Or someone. Different. Ryan didn't yell. He didn't beg. He didn't even ask me to explain. He just said, "Thank you for telling me," and went back to eating, though I could tell he barely tasted a bite. The next morning, when I woke up, his side of the bed was empty. By the time I made it to the kitchen, he was gone. No note, no message. I didn't hear from him for days. Part of me thought he was just cooling off and that we'd talk it out like always. But a week later, I got a text, "I think we should end things here. I deserve to be with someone who actually wants me." That was it. No long paragraph, no closure. At first, I was relieved. I told myself I was finally free to find someone who made my heart race. I went on dates with guys who had that spark. Men who rode motorcycles, men who could talk their way into exclusive parties, men who made me feel like I was in a movie. But those same men also canceled last minute, flirted with other women in front of me, and disappeared for days without explanation. The excitement I thought I wanted quickly turned into anxiety and exhaustion. I started to remember how peaceful life with Ryan had been, how secure I'd felt knowing he would never make me doubt where I stood. 3 months after we broke up, I was scrolling through Instagram when I saw him. Ryan. Except, not the Ryan I remembered. He looked fitter, more confident. And standing next to him was a woman who looked like she'd stepped off the cover of a fashion magazine. Tall, radiant, effortlessly glamorous. They were in Italy, smiling at the camera, his arm wrapped comfortably around her waist. I clicked on her profile. She was a professional model, with thousands of followers and a career that had her traveling the world. It felt like someone had punched me in the stomach. I stared at the picture for so long my phone screen dimmed. Ryan wasn't just moving on. He was thriving. And not just with someone new. With someone society would say was way out of his league. I thought about the last time I'd seen him, how I'd looked into those kind, steady eyes, and told him he wasn't enough for me. And now here he was, proving to the world. And maybe to himself. That he was more than enough. The next time I saw him in person was at a mutual friend's wedding. He looked incredible in a tailored suit, laughing easily, surrounded by people. The model. Her name was Sophia. Was there too, wearing a dress that made every head turn when she walked into the room. I caught his eye once across the dance floor, and for a second, I thought he might come over. But he just gave me a polite nod and went back to talking with Sophia, his hand resting on her lower back like it belonged there. That was the moment it hit me, there was no going back. I had taken a man who gave me consistency, loyalty, and unconditional care, and I'd thrown it away because I was chasing some unrealistic idea of constant excitement. I'd told him to his face I wasn't attracted to him anymore, not realizing that attraction isn't just about looks. It's about how someone treats you, how safe they make you feel, how they show up for you again and again. Now, every time I scroll past one of their pictures. On a beach in Bali, at a rooftop dinner in Paris, hiking through the Swiss Alps. I feel this sharp mix of regret and admiration. Regret for not seeing his worth when I had him. Admiration for the way he walked away without bitterness and built a better life for himself. The irony? I've never found anyone I'm more attracted to than Ryan. And I know now that it has nothing to do with the fact he's dating a model. It's because he's a man who knows his value. And he refused to stay with someone who couldn't see it. And that's the part that really keeps me up at night. Not that he's gone, not that he's happy without me, but that he's out there living the life I could have had, with the man I should have held on to.